We all love our tech, right? Our phones, our laptops, our smart everything. But there's this huge hidden consequence to all of it, a dark side. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that, using the brand new Global E-Waste Monitor 2024 report to see just how massive our electronic footprint has really become. All right, let's just jump right in with a number that's, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. In just 1 year, 2022, we, all of us on this planet, created 62 billion kilograms of electronic waste. Billion with a B. So what does that even look like? Okay, try to picture this. The report uses this incredible analogy. Think of a line of massive 40-ton trucks, all packed to the brim with old gadgets. That line of trucks, it would literally rack around the entire equator, bumper to bumper, all the way around the world. That's how much stuff we're tossing out every single year. This just begs the question, right? What are we actually throwing away? And what is it really costing us? Not just in landfill space, but, what's the real price for our planet, for our health, for our economy? Let's dig in and find out. Okay, so first up, a global tsunami of tech. And that's not an exaggeration, because this isn't just some steady trickle of waste. Oh no, it's more like a wave that's getting bigger and faster every year. Just look at these numbers. Back in 2010, we generated 34 billion kilograms. A lot for sure. But by 2022, that almost doubled to 62 billion. And the projection for 2030? If we don't change anything, we're looking at 82 billion kilograms a year. This thing is spiraling, and it's picking up speed. So what's actually inside all this e-waste? You might think it's just a bunch of useless junk. But that's where it gets really interesting. It's this wild mix of stuff. Some of it is pretty dangerous, yeah, but a lot of it is actually super valuable. Let's break down that 62 billion kilogram pile from 2022. And this is pretty wild. Over half of it, half, is metal. That's 31 billion kilograms of metal. The rest is mostly plastics and other bits and pieces. But just let that sink in for a second. 31 billion kilograms of metal. Why does that matter? Because we're talking about copper, gold, iron, all sorts of valuable stuff. And when you add it all up, the raw materials just sitting in that pile of e-waste from 2022 were worth an estimated, wait for it, $91 billion. That's not trash. It's literally a gold mine, an urban mine, that we're just throwing in the garbage. Okay, so there's $91 billion just lying there. You'd think we'd be doing everything possible to get it back, right? Well, here's the kicker. Only 22.3%. That's all. Less than a quarter of all that e-waste was actually collected and recycled properly. We are just throwing away billions and billions of dollars. And that leads us right to the heart of the issue, the great recycling failure. I mean, the systems we have in place to deal with this stuff, they're just not working. They are totally, completely swamped. This chart right here says it all. Since 2010, the mountain of e-waste we're creating is growing almost 5 times faster than our ability to actually recycle it. It's like we're in a race we're losing, and we're falling further behind every single year. So where does all that other stuff go? Well, of that massive pile, only about 13.8 billion kilograms actually makes it into the formal recycling system. The rest? It gets chucked into regular landfills, or it's handled by shady, unregulated outfits in rich countries, or it ends up in the hands of informal workers in lower-income countries, often in really dangerous conditions. Bottom line, most of it is a total mess. And, this problem is not the same everywhere. Not even close. You look at Europe, they're leading the pack with a recycling rate of almost 43%, which, let's be honest, is still less than half. But then you look at Africa. They have a formal recycling rate of less than 1%. The infrastructure just doesn't exist. It's a huge global imbalance. All right, let's talk about the true cost of all this, because it's way, way more than just the money we're leaving on the table by not recycling those metals. The report does this amazing economic breakdown, like a global balance sheet for e-waste. On the one hand, the benefits. We get about $51 billion back. But then you look at the costs, and whoa, on top of the $10 billion for treatment, there's this massive $78 billion figure for what they call externalized costs. That's the damage to our health, to the environment, the hidden stuff. So think about it. For every dollar we get back, we're creating almost $3 in hidden cost to society. That's not a good business model.
So when you add it all up, the final number is just devastating. We're in the red by $37 billion, a negative $37 billion. That's the net cost, every year, of us failing to deal with our own electronic junk.
And what are these hidden costs? What we're talking about, things like 58,000 kilograms of toxic mercury just released, 45 million kilograms of plastics loaded with flame retardants leaking into our soil and water. It's greenhouse gases from old AC units and fridges. And tragically, it's the very real health problems for people, especially informal workers, who are handling this stuff without protection. That's the bill society ends up paying. Okay, so yeah, that's all pretty bleak. But the report doesn't just leave us in despair. It actually pivots to look at our future, and it frames it as a choice. We're not doomed, but we have to decide which path we're going to take. It lays out 3 possible scenarios for 2030. Path 1, business as usual. We do nothing and our recycling rate actually drops to 20% because we're making more waste than ever. Path 2, the progressive scenario. We make some real changes and get up to 38%. But then there's the aspirational goal, a world where we get our act together and recycle 60%. It's possible. And check out what this means for the bottom line. Business as usual digs us into an even deeper hole, a $40 billion loss. The progressive path gets us to about break even, which is better. But that aspirational path, it completely flips the script. We go from a massive loss to a $38 billion net gain. The lesson here is crystal clear. What's good for the planet is actually really, really good for the economy too. But recycling is only part of this story. The report makes this one simple, powerful point. The absolute easiest way to solve the e-waste problem is to not create it in the first place, right? Making things that last, making them repairable, that's the real game changer. So here we are. We're at a crossroads. The data could not be any clearer. We can see the cost of the path we're on, and we can see the massive benefits of choosing a different one. The only question left is, which future are we actually going to choose to build?